everyone, welcome back to RTS and welcome back to another start to finish video. And of course we're still playing with the load prompts and still having fun with the load prompts. I can't say this enough. I love the ideas I get from the load event. So of course, you know, we have the whole Wizard of Oz, ruby red scissors and that type of thing. And I have a huge box of paper, a photo box full of paper, so we're going to do a little something different in the start to finish. Yes, we're just going to sit and chat and have a little bit of fun. So the topic of discussion today in the load event was the crystal ball. And Alice gave us such a wonderful prompt. I would have never in a million years to take a story this way, especially with the photos I have. Yes, okay. So the story idea she gave us, of course, doing about the crystal ball. Create a page about a story you witnessed but you were not a part of. Now, is that an amazing load prompt? Yes, it is. I'll read that again. Create a page about a story that you witnessed but you were not a part of. Oh, wow. I love it, love it, love it. Okay, so then the technique that she gave us was to use glossy accents or something crystal on your layout. I mean, I think this was one of the best load prompts so far. Yes, okay. Now, what I decided to do was, what am I going to do for this story? And this is why I love the load event. I'll tell you why. Because you can take ordinary photos and turn it into a story. And that's what I'm talking about. Because what I have here is I have some ordinary photos of one of my, I have an outdoor swing, and last year at this time we had a major storm, like tornado wind storm, and it picked up this 3-person swing that was anchored into the ground, anchored as in construction zone anchored, because we have high winds here. It picked that 3-person swing up with the canopy anchored into the ground with construction length stakes, picked it up, flipped it in the air picked it up in the air, flipped it, and moved it 4 feet and slammed into my fence. Oh, I was crushed. I literally was crushed because my fence, I love my fence that is on the one part of my home. Just love my fence. And so I was heartbroken, and I knew at one time I probably was going to have to face this, and this is exactly why my husband went to great lengths to construction zone spike that puppy into the ground every winter. And this time we just had tornado winds. And here is the point of the story why I picked these, okay? Because I was going to the bathroom at 2 in the morning. I walked into the bathroom and all of a sudden I heard this noise, and my brothers always told me, if you hear something that sounds like a freight train coming, be prepared. And I was like, oh no, oh no. And yes, I heard the wind pick this up and slam it into my fence in the middle of the night. So I did not witness it, but I was a part of this story because there's another part of this story, which I'll tell, that makes this a big story. I'll talk about that when we come back at the finished part. So what I'm going to do, we're going to do a little something different. I just love this load prompt because this is just an ordinary event, but it was such a mega story for this year because it took, yeah, I'll talk about that. But anyways, long story short, we are going to pick some papers because in this photo box, I'm going to take these photos, and I have, this is nothing but paper page kits, meaning I have 3 or 4 pieces of paper together in a little group, and you see I have them separated by copy paper, and this is the start of a layout for me. So every once in a while I will grab this box. I have several other boxes. I have several kits. I have a little bit of everything floating around my space because I never know what mood I am in to use for supplies. So I'm going to take these photos, and it's basically white and green and outside. So white, green, nothing too bright. So I'm going to keep that in mind, and I'll just keep this one photo to the side here. I'm going to keep that in my mind when I pick these papers. So that's what we're going to do in the start to finish. Some of my subscribers had wanted to see a little bit more, how do I pick the papers I pick for my pages, because I'm all about mood and feel. And so with this story in mind about this outdoor swing slamming into my fence in a storm, I'm going to keep that mood and feel in my mind as I pick out these papers. And so we're just simply going to go through this box, and I will see which one grabs my attention, and we're going to run with it, okay? And you can tell this box is full because one day, I think this was about a year or so ago. It was during the holidays. I wanted to play with paper, didn't have time to scrap. I just grabbed some paper pads, sat on the floor in front of the fire with my family, and put together page kits. Yes, and that's all this is just paper put together in a group so that when I want a fast layout, I can sit and do that. Of course, I love this. Yes, yes, yes. And you'll notice something, that a lot of these start with floral, because I have noticed that is how I start a lot of my page kits. Okay, so I'm just going to keep this box here. Okay, and then I will just, the ones I think will be a contender, I'll keep, and not, we'll just move to the side. So that definitely is not the mood and feel I want, because this is too bright and too happy, because this was not a happy event. No, it was not. No, I cried. I'll just be honest with you. I cried. Yes, okay. And, of course, my family knows what an ordeal this was, and we'll talk about that. But just love how this load event is going to prompt me to get this story recorded. Love that. Okay, so now here is another page kit. Again, a little too bright, a little too cheery. Oh, how many papers do I have in this one? So you see, that was my inspiration piece. And then there was another piece. Love this. My Mind's Eye paper. Oh, 2014. They had it going on there. There's basic gray. Can't even get that. And then, yeah, oh, look, I got a little bit of everything. That's definitely a 2-page. Oh, yes, I have a little bit of everything. See, this is more. Oh, this is more than just a one layout. This is a multi. Certainly, oh, yeah, I did put all of this together. Wow. Big page kit. Okay, I got to be stopping here sometime soon. Where's my paper? This can't be. Oh, it must be. Okay, I can already tell you this is part of another page kit, because I remember putting this together. Okay, so here's another one. Okay, and there's some orange and some blue. Okay, see, there's a page kit. See the different colors, the orange and the blue. I might have to get a piece of copy paper. Well, right here's one. I'm just making sure I have my papers together. See, and this is why I have to put that copy paper in there, because, you know, this was just a year or so ago. I can't remember what I did. No. Okay, so here's another one. And, of course, yes, love that. Petals in Bloom, Hobby Lobby. Look at these colors. Oh, that just makes my heart leap for joy. I just love those colors, yes. But, again, too cheerful for my topic today. And now we got, what do we got? Some Paige Evans coming up. I think that was from Whimsical. So you can see, too bright, too light, too airy. We got some more. You see, I was playing with a paper pad. And so that's another set of papers I put together. A little too bright. Now we got some simple stories coming up. And you see how a lot of my inspiration starts with that floral piece? That's just my style. And that's what I've said in another video. Once you know your style, things go so much easier. Instead of floral for you, it may be geometrics. So keep that in your mind when you're thinking of starter pieces for page kits. Doesn't have to be floral. No, that's just what I use. See, again, another floral. Oh, these are pretty. Oh, very, very pretty. That's a nice Disney page right there. Okay, well, okay, now we're getting into something darker, because I was getting ready to say, if that's all I have in this box is bright colors, that may be a little not what I want. Okay, so here's another grouping. And this has 5 pieces of paper. So you see, some of my kits have 3, some have 5, some have a little bit more. That is just a little too whimsical for me. Moving on. Okay, now what do we got? Simple stories. I hope you don't mind sitting here looking at page kits. See, there's another 3 pieces. Okay, what you can do with that. Oh, and Jen Hatfield. One of my favorite papers by her. Oh, that's beautiful. Look at that. Oh, yes. Very, very pretty. Almost looks like Vera Bradley. Yes, very colorful. Okay, so here we go. We've got some darker colors coming up. This is by We Are Memory Keepers. Now, this is a fall paper, but I see this is outdoor. Now, see? Now we're getting somewhere, folks. You see what I'm saying? I will just go until I get what I want as far as my mood and feel. I don't want anything happy and bright. I really don't want flowers, because this was in the dead of winter. I don't want anything like that. Those would work. Oh, those would definitely work. That is a contender. And I have how many pieces of paper? Oh, well, I'm just keep on going here. So you see, my page kits don't always have the same amount of paper. This would be more or less what I would consider a 2-page, or maybe even 4 pages. Look at that. Beautiful. Oh, that's very pretty. Oh, that is very pretty. Pretty, pretty. That's a contender. Okay, let's go into the left. We found one. We found one. Yes, if that's the only one we use, that's something. Okay, now here we go. Some Chicken Itty papers and simple stories. That is 2. Moving on. 2 pink. 2 pink. Yes, but that is very, very pretty. Chicken Itty, man. They had some nice papers. Didn't last long. Okay. Okay, so again, another floral. Oh, no, this is promising. This is very promising. So there's 3 pieces of paper. Let's see. We have My Mind's Eye, Market Street. We have Fancy Pants. This is a Valentine's paper. Don't matter to me. When you have a piece of paper that's theme, like this is Valentine's, it even has Valentine's. If you crop your photos or use it as a mat, no one will ever know what the words are. And then this is another My Mind's Eye. Okay, but those look kind of nice together. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, I like that. Okay, so now we got 2 choices. Okay, so at least we have something. So it's definitely a floral, but it's a dark floral. I can live with that. Yeah. Okay, now what do we got? Oh, I don't even know who that's by. Simple Stories, maybe? I don't know. Petals in Bloom? I don't know. Okay, so that's another one. That's very bold. More Petals in Bloom. My favorite paper pad by Paper Studio ever. That is very, very pretty. Ugh. You know, I never tire of floral. Does anybody else never tire? Or what is something you never tire of? Please post below. For me, it's florals and wood grain. I never get tired of them. I don't see me getting tired of them anytime soon. And I think it's because floral and wood grain is really part of my life. I love flowers. I plant flowers. I do a lot with flowers. And of course, you know, I live in rural America, so wood grain, that's normal, but that's pretty. So I wonder if there's a correlation between that. How you live, where you live, if that has something to do with what you love. Isn't that interesting? That would be an interesting conversation. Yes, it would. Okay, so you see I have more bright colors. Okay, so I'm going to look to see if I have anything different here in this box, because I know some of these were from the same paper pads. See, that same one I just showed. I just sat down one day with a bunch of paper pads, I think 5 or 6, and I just started pairing papers up. That's what I did. And I have all of these options. Okay, that's a little, I have a lot of pink and turquoise in here. But I love these page kits. Yes. A lot of graphics. I'm trying to see if I have something darker. So let's see here what we have at the bottom. Well, there's some Maggie Holmes. You know that's going to be floral. Yes, Maggie Holmes has quite the following. She does great stuff. Okay. So Maggie Holmes. Now here's a different piece of paper. This paper has been floating around my stash. I've had it several of them. Oh, you want to know the year? 2009. Making Memories, Vintage Findings. This has a little sheen to it. Interesting. I've used a couple of that. Of course, that was crepe paper when crepe paper was crepe paper. Oh, yes. Boy, there's a big, big difference in this crepe paper versus the crepe paper you buy today. That's almost sad, isn't it? Break out the tissues. What year was this? 2012, of course. That's when scrapbooking was fine, baby. Okay, so I think this is just all light colors. There's some orange. I think I'm down to those 2 options. Wow. Well, you do with what you have, and so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put all those back in that box. So very simple to keep them corralled. Okay, so what did I come down to? I had these 2 options. And so now how will I decide? And simply, it will just be, I will tell you, I am really surprised that I like this yellow and brown together. And then I have this one that's just simply, this is 6 papers, but just because it has 6, I don't have to worry about using all 6. I can put it back for another. And then I have this. Interesting. I don't think you could go wrong with either one. No, I really, really don't. Well, now, what will I do? Well, I will tell you what I will do in this case, because I can't pick, and you can't sit here for 3 days making a decision, that I will put both of these together. And now I just made that page kit even better. I'm going to play with all those papers. Yeah, I'm going to mix and mingle. That is the beauty of having your own supplies. You can do whatever you want. Can I get an amen? Absolutely. Okay, so I wanted to show the process of how, when I pull out some page kits that I already made, how do I do the selection process? I simply go by mood and feel, really, and go by a little bit of colors. This had some brown and some green, and I didn't want to go too bright, too light, too airy, because this wasn't a happy event. No, it wasn't. I mean, look how far it pulled that thing out of the ground, 4 feet, and moved it and slammed it into my fence. Of course, this is the after. This was the before. Yes. And the other one was the during. Maybe that's what I'll call it, before, during, and after. Okay. So I'm very happy with this load prompt and taking this mundane, everyday story of my swing smashing into my outdoor fence and turning it into a story that will have a catchy little title and some catchy supplies, hopefully. Now, I don't know about glossy accents. We'll see about that, but I'll have to see what crystal ball effect we can have on this page. So that is how I'm going to start this page. And you know what that means. Come back. Oh, see? You see what I'm saying? Love those two together. Oh, see? I'm going to mix and match. Okay, so come back and we'll see how I finish this page. Okay, hold on. Okay, I am back with my fast finished page because if I timed it correctly, I think this took around 37 to 40 minutes. I was watching a video, so give or take, but it was less than 45 minutes. And this is a very, very simple page because I have a very, very simple design, okay, which was absolutely opposite of this story. It wasn't a simple story. Okay, so if we take a look at my page design, it really is just a 5-inch band of paper with another piece of paper, about a 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, and it's just, I just used an edge punch, and then I put that on top of a Bow Bunny ledger style paper, and then I gave it a mat with this basil cardstock. So really only about 4 pieces of paper, and some of that wasn't even a big piece of paper. And so it's a very, very simple design. It's the band design. We talked about that in our go-to design, so I have that video linked below. Very, very simple design. And then, of course, I love this plaid that was in that kit that I had picked previously out of that box because of the colors, and it reminded me of outside and home and things like that. And then, of course, pairing it with this Bow Bunny ledger paper because I'm talking about mood and feel, and that's what I mean, ledger paper, because this had nothing to do with except phone calls and numbers and measurements. Yes, you know how it is with home repairs, absolutely. Okay, so then what I did was with this band design is that I took 3 of my 4 photos, because remember I had printed 4. I'm going to talk about that in just a minute. And I printed them with a border, so I didn't even have to do a mat. I mean, talk about quick, yes. And I'll talk about that in my photo series, how I print those on my Epson. I'll talk about that. And then, of course, this space down here, I could have left that all for journaling, but this was such a long ordeal. I don't know if I want to tell the long story about everything. I will just give a synopsis of the 7-month ordeal it took to get from this to this, and so that's what will be included in my journaling. Yes. And so then, of course, I used a cut apart that was from Carnivella Welcome Home, only because this was laying to my right. I mean, how appropriate was to use this. It's the blueprint of a home for a story such as this. So when I'm talking about mood and feel, that means using things on purpose. This ledger paper was on purpose. Of course, it was in that page kit. And then using this cut apart that has a home blueprint on purpose, and then the actual phrases and sayings I use, all on purpose. Okay, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. So then what I did was I absolutely framed this design using homemade photo corners, and I talked about that in a previous video. And these photo corners are using the 1-inch circle punch, and so I will have the video linked below where I show a little tutorial how to make your own photo corners. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Yes, no matter what paper you have, you can make your own photo corners. Very, very fun to do and very, very affordable. Yes, okay. It's just a 1-inch. This is a 1-inch. In the video I think I used a 3/4, okay? But since this was the outside mat, I went with a 1-inch, okay? My journaling is going to go on top here of this wood grain. And then let's talk about the title for a minute, and then I'll talk about the embellishments. Because if you notice on this page, it's a very simple design, and I have a simple amount of embellishment, but each one is intentional. So with the load prompt, and I got to catch my breath. That's what I get for scrubbing the floors before I turn on the camera. Oh, but hey, you have to get things done when you can get things done. Yes, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so with the load prompt, Alice said, create a page about a story you witnessed, but you were not a part of. Okay, now I definitely was a part of trying to get this fixed, but I did not witness it being done as far as the actual act. So very, very fitting to use this story for this load prompt. And then also too, you notice the keyword she had in there was witness. I used that keyword of witness in my title because my title says, can I get a witness? Yes, because I thought it was so fitting, so fun. And this is what I mean about the load prompts to help you tell and record stories in a different manner. Because normally, and I'm going to talk about photos for a minute, and the load prompt. So when this ordeal happened, I have so many photos. I'm saying probably close to 50 photos of this event, okay? Because first of all, you need to have proof. You know, we know how it is deal with insurance companies, which is a racket. That's all I'm going to say, okay? Racket, insurance companies, okay? But you have to have proof of everything. And as scrapbookers, we take pictures anyways. So I had proof of everything. And then I had to have documentation of what I needed when I needed to talk to distributors and manufacturers of this fence, okay? So I needed photos for that. And then I needed photos to send to my contractor. And so then to the insurance company and to the distributor. So I easily have over 50 photos of this event. But look at my page and see how many I actually used. 3. And so that's what I'm saying. Just because I took 50 photos of this event doesn't mean I need to scrap 50 photos of this event. I only need the representation to tell the story, and that's how we can get our pages and our stories recorded more quickly, is that we don't have to include every photo. So just with this one page, I printed 4. I do not need 2 pictures of the fence to represent my fence finally got done. Okay, that's what I wanted to say. So then along with the load prompt, with this event, I would have scrapped this anyways, but I would not have gotten into making this story come more alive without that load prompt. I just would not have come up with that on my own. Can I get a witness? Because this happening in the middle of the night, nobody saw it, but this is what it looked like in the morning. Yes, and then of course I added a little subtitle at the top that says "Looking Back," and that's what I wanted to talk about. And these craft stickers here are just on a little bit of foam. I think these are by Momenta. They came from Hobby Lobby or Tuesday Morning, not quite sure. But when I use embellishments on my page, other than like enamel dots and brads, things like that, those are just finishing touches. They can go on every page. But when I'm picking embellishments, I am very intentional on what I pick to help me, again, mood and feel, to help record my story. So what do I mean? So if you look at these craft stickers here that I used, it says "Looking Back." Home is where your story begins, and then out loud experience. So each one of those is helping me tell my story a little bit more without having to use all of those 50 photos. And then also here my die cut says research. How perfect, because I had to do a lot of research. So I don't have to go into, 3 paragraphs about all the research I had to do because of that one word, okay? And then, of course, down here I added a cute little one that says, "Oh, snap." Yeah, because that's how I think my husband and I felt. Oh, snap. Oh, yeah, we got a problem. Yes. So what I wanted to say with all that rambling is that just because I took over 50 photos because of this problem of what this storm did to our fence and our swing, I did not need all 50 photos to record the story. Yes, I can use a small amount of photos, a small amount of embellishments, and then intentional supplies to help me tell that story. I hope that makes sense. I hope that was not too much rambling. Now, my journaling will go here on top of this wood grain. I just gave it a fishtail look using my hexagon punch. Love my hexagon punches for an easy fishtail. And then I used a My Mind's Eye sticker as this little finishing touch. And I got asked this question. And so I want to share that just for a minute. So if you want to hang on. Okay. And yes, I used another roll of washi because if I flip this over, my brads are covered. So love that. Okay. I want to say one more thing because I'll get sidetracked. Is that, sorry, I have a little bit of a cold today. Is that if you notice with my band design, my title, my photos, my embellishments, and my journaling all follow this band design, okay? So that's basically, even though this strip of paper is in this band, but look at my overall design. Everything is following this band design. That's the beauty of a band design. You can get, you can have some room for your layout to breathe, if that makes sense. Okay, so my journaling is going to go on top of here, and then I have these little pieces here at the end. And I got asked this question, so I want to make sure I cover this. Okay. So originally, I think I have to get a tissue. Originally, this sticker was a My Mind's Eye word sticker. I'm going to put it back on the backer as it came. And while I'm doing that, some of my enamel dots are absolutely a wood enamel dot. And so again, I use these wood enamel dots to help emphasize my story even more because this is an outdoor. So even something as simple as the type of enamel dots or the type of finishing pieces that you use can absolutely help you with your story. Okay, so this My Mind's Eye sticker, okay, says adorable. Well, that does not fit this page whatsoever. However, this color matches this die cut to a T. You know, we just get detailed about that. So I cut it in half, and it doesn't matter what the letters say because I'm going to tuck it underneath my journaling spot, and I'm just going to use that little edge of that word label. Now, this is something I learned from Laura Whitaker a few years ago. She was a queen at doing that. And so when I started watching her videos and I would see her take journaling cards and stickers and pieces of paper and she would just MacGyver them and use them, this is what she taught me. I looked at that color. I didn't care that it said adorable. And that's how I used that sticker for a little finishing touch there on my journaling spot. Love that. I loved Laura's videos, and they're not available right now. Hopefully in the future she'll get them back up. And you know, if they do, I'll be the first one to tell you. Yes, absolutely. Okay, I think that is all I wanted to say about this page. Again, very, very simple page. And these are knotted here completely because I may have to move this depending on how wordy I get. But everything else with these photo corners, I showed that in the other video. You want to make sure you lift them up and give a little extra adhesive behind them because they will create a little bit of bulk. Okay, so that's all I have for today. And I hope you enjoyed this little bit of a story. This was not a fun event, but I'm so glad that it's finished. Yes, can I get a witness? Yes, absolutely. So that's all I have for today. Come back to RTS because you never know what we're going to learn. Bye.